Hashem Adonai Olam, Hashem's name will be blessed forever and ever. Be'ezrat Hashem. This is our Torah class, Ayin Hara, number 16. And today we're going to focus on Ben Adam Le-chavero, between a man to his fellow friend. Okay? We're going to continue.
Get the answers today?
The answer to, remind me, what was the question?
if a Russia has the car broke down, do you stop to help?
Okay. Bezrat Hashem, we get there. We get there. How are you going to answer? Bezrat Hashem. So, and you know, we discussed about Rabbi Akiva and the students and what really happened there, and that it was part of it was Ayin Hara. Maybe the main reason was Ayin Hara. Ayin Hara just hit anywhere. So we're going to continue with Be'ezrat Hashem, studying some laws about Ben Adam, between a man, Le-chavero, to his friend, which is also connected and related to a man to his rabbi, a man to his family. It's not my friend, it's my brother. Is it higher than a friend or is equal to a friend? A man to his father and mother, is that under the category of a man to his friend? So all these things I don't think we ever discuss, and we have an opportunity to learn from our rabbis what was right and what was wrong. And I would like to ask the Zoom class to put yourself in mute. I appreciate it, thank you. If you have any questions, then you may join. Don't write to me because I don't really see from here the texting. Any question before we start?
Yes, what's the answer?
Yeah. You need to be patient. We'll get there. And I will repeat the question, Be'ezrat Hashem, also. So we've learned that it says in the Torah, "Vehalachta bidrachav." You should walk in his ways. Which ways? Which ways? Him. Who is him? What does that mean?
Observe his commandments.
Huh?
Observe his commandments.
Observe the commandments. So Hashem observed the commandments. Hashem keep Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nihiyo b'dvoro.
Amen.
And you may not be saying Amachaye. Go ahead.
That's a Yemanit,
No. Ma? Chesed. Okay, Chesed. We'll see what is that. What's the meaning of vehalachta bidvar? We should walk in His ways. Okay. For example, Hashem is merciful.
Yes.
Let me be merciful. Hashem is doing kindness every second. We should do kindness. Hashem is good. You have to be good. That's the main thing. This is why we're saying Hamelech Hatov. Right? We should know that all the Hanhagot, all the actions between man to his friends, the foundation of them is in the heart of a man. A man that has a good heart and he is merciful and like to think positive, it's easier for him to do chasadim, to do kindness, and to be careful about his friend. We learned that from Moshe Rabbeinu. Let me give you an example. Let's pick, I don't know, 2 or 3 leaders. So let's say Moshe Rabbeinu, and I don't know, King Saul, King David. Right? Why Hashem chose them to be leaders, to be the king? Why Hashem didn't choose me? Why Hashem didn't choose...
They didn't want to be chosen.
Who says he has? I get brownie points.
You got 10 points. 10 points.
No. We'll just give you not points.
Why Hashem didn't choose any other person over them? They were shepherds. Okay. They were a loyal shepherd. In Hebrew it's called shepherd. How is it called shepherd? Ro'eh. Loyal ne'eman. Ro'eh ne'eman. It's a very well-known term. Ro'eh ne'eman. What was so good about him as being shepherd? Back then, everybody was shepherd. They were all shepherds. The whole tribes were shepherds, right? Except Yosef, they were shepherds, right? What's so special with being shepherd?
They cared about the weakest one.
Huh?
They protected the weakest.
They protect the weakest. So the Midrash brings a few stories. I'm not going to go through the whole story, just to remind you probably know already. There's a story about Moshe Rabbeinu that he noticed. It's also a good way to see if someone is a good leader. He noticed there is a missing a small kid, K-I-D, okay, small gidi. So he saw from a distance that the kid is stuck there. He went all the way there, and the kid was running away from him. Every time he got closer, he ran away from him, until he saw that he came close to where there was a water source. So he was communicating with the Midrash, said, you did all that because you were thirsty. So Moshe Rabbeinu gave him to drink, and then he carried him. The Midrash said, the Midrash is pointing out that he was carrying this little gedi on his shoulder, with the remark, this is a good shepherd. Okay? One thing to learn. We see about Moshe Rabbeinu that he is fighting with an Egyptian guy. Why are you fighting with an Egyptian guy?
Because it's beating a Jewish man.
Right? So he's beating up a Jewish person. Who was that Jewish person? Is the husband, I think we learned that already. It was the husband of, what's the name of his wife? Shlomit bat Divri. I don't know if you remember that. Remember the story? Remember the story that Shlomit, her name, why her name was Shlomit bat Divri?
She would go around and talk a bunch, right?
She was?
She would go around and talk a bunch, right?
Talk a bunch. Her name is Shlomit. That's not her real name. Remember we said people got nickname according to the actions? So her name, I don't know her real name, but that's what they called her. Shlomit. She said everybody she sees it, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. How are you? How are you? Is everything all right? She was talking with people. It's not tznius. Bat Divri. Divri means dvarim, talking. She was spoke too much with many people. It's not tznius.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking over.
That must have been from Knoxville.
So one day, one of the Egyptian officers noticed that. They started to talk, and he liked her. So during the night, the Midrash says he came to visit. But he made sure that the husband won't be home. So he made sure he wouldn't be home. He gave him a job to do. And that time he came to that woman. There was no light. She thought this is her husband. He was with her. And then he left. The husband came back. He noticed that something happened. And he realized that this was the Egyptian guy. Okay, so this guy is working all day, and the Egyptian officer is right there, and he's looking at him. The Jews want to kill him. The Egyptian officer noticed that the husband, so he was beating him up, wanted to kill him. Okay, so at that moment, Moshe Rabbeinu comes to the picture. He saw what happened, and then he hit this Egyptian guy and killed him and buried him. Okay, how he killed him?
Can you speak the word, the name of Hashem?
Hashem's name, yeah.
Hashem's name. How do we know that? What's the proof? That he killed him. You can kill him with a sword. You can kill him with a stone. How do we know that he used words? Ledaber, lomar, amira. When later on there was another incident between two guys, Datan and Aviram. Hey, wicked, Russia. He called him Russia. Why are you hitting your friend? He was about to hit him, didn't he? So they responded with saying, "Halehargeni ata omer," meaning when you have intention to kill me. But he didn't say to kill me with a sword or something. He says, "Halehargeni ata omer." Are you going to use the same methods to get rid of me like you did with the Egyptian yesterday? Omer. So the word, this is a proof that it was from using wording. So we saw that Moshe Rabbeinu is scared about a small gedi, a small kid, hitting an Egyptian. interfering between two Jews that fighting. These guys gave him a hard time for long years after. And also Moshe Rabbeinu was helping other people. He has a sense of justice, right? He was saving, for example, the daughters of Yitro, right? The daughters of Yitro came to the well to draw water. What happened? He's the Pope. He's very wealthy. He could hire people. He's sending his daughter with the flock, with the animals, among all the other shepherds. Doesn't make sense. What happened that day?
The other shepherds were bullying the daughters.
They're bullying, but why he was not sending? It was not stingy or something. They just kick him out of his position because he would start to talk with people about idol worshipping and all that. He decided that he no longer wants to be the Pope. So they removed him and he have to use his daughters. Moshe Rabbeinu comes, it's all happened from Shamayim, you know. Hashem, we said, Gavoha me'al gavoha. Things happening in the world that we don't know what's the reason for them, but Hashem has a plan. So, long story short, he saved them, and Moshe Rabbeinu got in trouble, but also got the prize. What was the trouble? That he didn't, when she said an Egyptian man saved me, he didn't argue with the words Egyptians. He said, hey, I'm a Jew, I'm an Hebrew. He didn't say that. And because of that, he lost the right to be buried in Eretz Israel. Compared to him, Yosef says, I'm a Hebrew, to Pharaoh. So you're going to be buried in Eretz Israel. And Israel carried them, the people of Israel, all the way from Egypt to be buried in Eretz Israel. Anyways, Moshe Rabbeinu was thrown to a pit. He was also in the jail like 10 years, and then he was saved and married with Tzipora. But we see the nature of that person. You can't just go to school and become, you learn how to be a leader and learn a leadership course, take a leadership course and become a leader. Hashem, has a lot of requirements and tests till it gives you the sharvit, what do you call it, the staff. So that was with Moshe Rabbeinu. You see the character of Moshe Rabbeinu. He fits to be a leader. He humbled himself. He's a shepherd. Same with Shaul, he was a shepherd. When the Navi Shmuel was looking for Shaul, Hashem sent him. Hashem chose Shaul. He thought he's going to find him, head of a yeshiva, head of a kollel, behind the cow, and he is plowing the field. Humbleness. Third one is David HaMelech. Same. David HaMelech also doesn't hesitate to fight with a lion and with a bear. And what for?
To protect the sheep.
Protect the sheep. So if I was a shepherd and I see a lion grab a sheep in his teeth, what do you think I would do? As much as you know me that I'm a fighter, right?
Throw a sheep at a lion.
David HaMelech, I would tell David, if I was there, I would say, let him go, let him eat it, that's fine, it's lunch for the lion, let him have it. David HaMelech says, move aside. It was jumping on the lion, fighting with the lion to take the sheep out of his teeth. That's a leader. Willing to protect the sheep. He will be willing to sacrifice his own life, even more so to protect my people. Of course Hashem knows that, but he wants to show everyone. So there will be confidence about that. And even David knows that this is not normal. And he mentioned that to Shaul before he fought against Goliath. I did this and I did that, I'm not afraid, I can do that. Shaul is convinced and he sent David HaMelech. And David again is sacrificing his own life against the giant. Okay? So this is a character of a leader. Okay? So we learn from here great things. The more you have goodness in your heart, you'll be willing to sacrifice your own life for other people. This is the ultimate good. What's good? It's not that you're thinking about yourself only. Good means giving, sacrificing, willing to go ahead and do the extra mile, saying, for other people. And that's a test. This is for us to learn what's the meaning of chesed, what's the meaning of good, not toward only a man or a Jew or a non-Jew, even toward an animal, to be merciful toward animal. Okay? It's a test. It's always with animals. You see many times, Hashem tests how this person with an animal. If we'll be good with animal, definitely will be with man. Any questions? Before we start some halachot, some laws. So, yeah, okay. So how do we know that we have to love our friends? It says in the Torah, ve'ahavta lera'acha kamocha. Now this is a little bit problematic. Let's translate that. What is the meaning of ve'ahavta lera'acha kamocha? Ve'ahavta, what does that mean? Love. Lera'acha, to your friend, your friend.
Like yourself.
Like yourself. What if I don't like myself? I hate myself. You know, to me, it's just a glass of water and a piece of bread, I'm good. What's the definition? You should love your friend like you love yourself. What if you hate yourself? There's some people that hate themselves, right?
Yeah, but you don't want other people
find it funny?
to be mean to you.
It's true, right?
Into the truth.
Right. No? You look at me in shock. It's the first time you hear the question? No? Help me out.
You don't want other people to be mean to you. Even if you don't like yourself, you want other people to treat you good.
Okay.
So that's how you should treat others.
Good. Not only that, even if you stingy with yourself, you don't spend much on yourself, this is not the way to treat your friend. Okay? And we'll see this halacha in a minute. When one inviting guests to his house, how to act. There's a whole bunch of halachot. Right? We'll get it. We'll get there. Bezrat Hashem. The mitzvah of loving the other, meaning to do, not just to think positively, but to do good actions to his friend and not to harm him. But we can fulfill this mitzvah but with thinking good about our friends only. So every minute we can, just by thinking, I wish I could do this to him, I want to do that to him, I want to help her, whatever. Okay? You can fulfill a mitzvah every minute by thinking. You remember we said there is 6 mitzvot you can do without doing anything, just thinking Hashem is one, and so forth and so on. So in which way there's a mitzvah to love someone from Israel? It's a mitzvah to help him begufo uvemamono. Hey, shalom aleichem. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. This is the Shimon, Talia Shimon, the black. I know she looks Ashkenazi, but it is what it is. Yeah. You know, we tried, but... So, to be care about his well-being, his health, his money, if he has debts, if he needs help, this kind of thing. That he'll be in a good condition. No harm will be happen to him or his family. That's the definition in general of the mitzvah of gemilut chasadim. Okay? There's more examples. We'll see it Bezrat Hashem in a minute. What's under the category of doing good to your friends? Giving them a loan, achnasas orchim, which is, what is achnasas orchim? Hosting them, giving tzedakah. There's a question if ve'ahavta le'racha kamocha, you should love your friend like yourself, included non-Jews. Or this mitzvah toward Jewish person only. What do you say?
I think of the Jewish people as a representation definition of how Hashem wants us to act, then it would be to everyone.
Okay, there's a different shitot. It's debatable among the rabbis. Rambam, for example, holds that the mitzvah is toward your fellow friends, which means a Yehudi, a Jew. And he says, Le'ehov kol ish ve'ish mi'Yisrael, from Israel. Okay? Meaning also, if you transgress that law, it not be so bad toward non-Jews. They're not believing in the Torah, or they're not fulfilling the Torah, they're not part of the Jewish people. So we act toward them differently. Doesn't mean that we have to hate them. No. Okay, for example, Lashon Hara. If I speak Lashon Hara on the Jew, it's a sin, right? If I talk Lashon Hara on Biden, for example.
That's a mitzvah.
Did I commit an aver? I commit a sin of Lashon Hara if I spoke against a non-Jew. No, Biden is just an example. It could be Kamala Harris or someone like that. So.
Non-Jews, those are Russian.
Ma?
Those are not just non-Jews, those are Russian. That's another category, right?
Yeah. So the mitzvah is toward the Jew, but our sage is teaching us don't do it even toward non-Jew. Because you teach yourself to avoid speaking Lashon Hara regardless. Obviously the sin is different, but it's all about the training or how to avoid such things. Okay, and it says also, it's a mitzvah to tell your friend a good news. Okay. There's some people, you probably know, one or two, that this guy or this lady always comes with the bad news. I don't know how they get it first, they all come with the bad news. Even in the Tanakh it says about, it says, we'll see it, B'ezrat Hashem, one of the king doesn't want to consult with another guy, he says, this guy's always giving me, bad news.
I always tell them their team wins.
So you have to be careful with that. It's not a mitzvah to go somewhere and tell them that someone died or something really bad happened. Keep quiet. Some people get excited to get attention. I don't know what's the deal over there.
The one guy who told David Amelech that Amelech had died, he had him killed. He thought I was going to be.
Yeah, the Amaleki guy. Yeah. So it's a mitzvah to be the first to tell the fellow Jew a good news. Just by doing that, even over the phone, you did a mitzvah. Why did a mitzvah?
You're gladdening their.
Exactly. It makes me happy. It's a way to make them happy.
It's very hard to tell someone bad news.
Correct. Try to avoid that as much as you can. It's not your job in this world to give bad news. Good news, on the contrary, it's a great mitzvah. Another mitzvah, for example, that we're probably experiencing every day or every Shabbat or every holiday, some of us, it says, Veheve mekabel et kol ha'adam besever panim yafot. Accept every person with smiley face. You have guests, you know how to treat them well. Okay? For example, give them the feeling that your house is their house. Mikasa sukasa is saying in Yiddish. Let them feel everything is free. On the contrary, I told you this before. I was someone was in someone's house and he did a motzi, and after that he kept the whole bread for himself. Everybody that wants, he gave them a little a piece of bread. I'm telling you. So that's not the way to treat your guests. Someone comes with a gift. People usually come with something. You don't come empty-handed. Why you not supposed to come empty-handed?
It's not good manners.
How is that manners? And what's to give?
Appreciation.
Appreciation, right? Appreciation for hosting you. They work really hard.
They're providing you with so
Exactly.
much.
Never come empty-handed, ever. And sometimes people don't come. I didn't know what to bring.
Oh my gosh.
To bring always fruits or wine, it's always good. It's always acceptable. Or ketchup in some cases. Right?
I like that idea. You're not as dumb as you look.
So when they bring it to you, to your house, make sure to put it on the table. Okay? With wine, it's better to bring it after Kiddush so you can have an extra bracha, tov amiti, right? But bring it so that you're excited about it. Okay? So when you host someone, give them the feeling is someone, part of your family. But when you're a guest, don't feel too much that you're part of the family. Changing to, a robe and putting the leg. So this is going to be a little bit too much. Huh?
I go get down slippers.
That's what $90 food is.
All right. It's a great mitzvah to encourage people and to make other people happy, especially those that suffer from sadness or they're in distress. And there's a promise from Shemayim that Hashem says, אם אתה משמח את שלי, אני משמח את שלך. If you make my children happy, I'm going to make your children happy. I'm going to make you happy. It's a measure for measure. Mida keneged mida. Sometimes it's just small talk. A few seconds. How are you? Do you need anything? How can I help you? With meaning. You really mean to help them. Some people, we should meet for lunch. You never meet for lunch. You notice that? It never happens. It means it's never going to happen. Yeah, right. So mean what you're saying. It says in the Midrash that when Eliyahu Hanavi saw people like doing some sort of stand-up comedy, making clowns, making other people happy, he said, these people have a big share in the world to come. Why? Because they make other people happy.
Wow.
Okay?
It will make me very happy if people
בבקשה, guys, do brachot. Right. Do brachot. We have start in order. We have here. What do we have here? We have mezonot. We have our eights. We have at least do small bracha. And I want to take advantage and say toda rabba to the Goldstein family for hosting such a beautiful shiur, treats. No, b'kasha, take something. No? I feel bad now. Okay.
So when you say that makes people smile, is that apply even to like non-Jews, non-religious people?
Absolutely. Why? There's a bunch of stories that a Jew helped another Jew, and later on in history, it reflects really, really good, not only for that Jew, but for the whole community. Okay? And a bad decree was removed due to the chesed that the Jew did toward a non-Jew. Okay? So in that manner, we should treat all equally. Right? There's another mitzvah to give someone a good advice. Say the bracha in a way we can respond amen if you can. It's forbidden, it's prohibited to give someone a bad advice. As it says, where it says in the Torah, Ve'lifnei iver lo titen michshol. You don't put a stumbling block before a blind person. It's just a metaphor, obviously. Giving someone a bad advice, I don't know about whatever business or the stock market or about any other, business that you should go there and get involved. Huh? Amen. So,
Can I just go ahead and get them out of the way real quick?
Amen. So,
the other one I did too quiet.
right. Okay, so that's another thing, to give a good advice. Hashem is paying back. For that reason alone, that Hashem will treat you back with a reward in this world, it's good to do it, okay? And you never lose. Amen. There was a famous story about the printing house in Bnei Brak. I think I mentioned that story before. I was working many, many years from think from 1948, even before. They had a printing house in the main street in Bnei Brak. And the whole family had worked there, and they got their parnasa, a livelihood from it, for many years. And especially back then with no computers, everybody used books and workbooks and whatever. Everything was printed, right? After many years, just across the street, a new printing house was supposed to open. They opened it, not exactly in front of them, just a little bit further, but the same street. And people started to talk, what's going to happen? In other countries, they burn it. It doesn't. It's not going to. Even in the same city. Not to say, in the same street where everybody walks. It's the main street in Bnei Brak. So the first morning when they open, people come to shop to bring things for printing, and he offered better prices in some ways. The owner of the old printing house came with a bag. He wants to talk with the owner. They saw him. They tried to avoid him the whole time they were preparing that. They knew him really good. But he's now standing in their office. I said, how can we help you? He said, listen, I got you here a list with the best suppliers for everything you need. You don't have to waste time and money. I'm telling you, I've been working with these people for years. These guys the best. They were amazed. They didn't expect that. And it turns out, instead of becoming a competition or enemies to each other, they worked together closely. They both got benefit out of it. Whatever one got overwhelmed with job, he gave it to his friends. Whatever they started to share work. So both of them got more work now. You see? Just thinking in a good way about even your competition. It's not an easy thing to do. Think about it.
Can I tell a very quick story
Sure.
that happened in Baltimore?
Sure.
This was many years ago.
But you have to speak up a little bit so we can hear you here.
Okay. So there was a pizza shop called Tov Pizza, for those of you who know it. Then they were the only pizza place for a long time, and then started a new place called Mama Lea's. And they became competition. I don't know exactly what happened there, but everybody had their own parnasa, kol beseder, and then one day, Tov Pizza burnt. The ovens burned, something burned in all of Tov Pizza, and Mama Leah owners went into Tov Pizza, revamped the whole place, put it back on track
Wow.
for them.
And supplied pizza, so they had parnasa. Wow.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
Is that amazing? And
Wow.
then they built it beautifully.
Right.
That's
It's
what
beautiful.
they did for the shop. So I'm never looking at
And make
that.
this-
That was amazing.
That is something.
So make them famous for doing that, you see? Okay, another small thing that you probably won't notice. It happens to me, unfortunately, more than once. It says, Hevei makdim shalom lechol adam. What does that mean? Hevei makdim shalom, makdim
The
shalom.
first one to say
Be the first one to say shalom to every person. So I don't get to do that all the time, but the other problem is, if someone told you shalom, the halacha says you must reply with shalom. According to Kabbalah, it's always better to add another word, an extra. Shalom, shalom aleichem. It says, if you say shalom aleichem, say shalom aleichem ve'al b'neichem. Add something extra. But the halacha is, because someone give you something, you don't give just back to show, I did my share. With good intention, we give a little bit more. It's kind of like giving a check to a bar mitzvah, or someone gave you whatever amount, you give just a little bit more next time. But if you don't say shalom back, and it happens, you consider gazlan. What's a gazlan? A thief. Can someone explain to me that? First of all, you must reply at least shalom, shalom. Right? And we have to be careful where we're saying shalom. Some places we're not supposed to, like in the restroom, because shalom is one of Hashem's name. But why you consider as a gazlan, a thief?
His dignity. Stealing his dignity.
Okay.
It's time.
Huh?
It's time. It's time. It's been time talking to you.
So it says shalom is to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Kadosh Baruch Hu give us peace, give us shalom in order to share it with other people. If you keep it to yourself, you're stealing from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I give it to you to spread all over. Shalom, peace. You save it to yourself, you're a thief. So we always have to reply with shalom. You know, there is a mitzvah, a great mitzvah to study and to pray for Ilui Nishmat, for the sake of the soul of Niftars. Okay, someone that passed away. Dedicate Torah classes like we're doing here, we're trying to do for speedy recovery. I forgot to do it in the beginning of this class, so let's take advantage of that. Let's dedicate this Torah class for Refuah Shelema, speedy recovery. Any name you want to mention, please do it now. We have Tikkun Shalem, right? Refuah Shelema, Refuah HaNefesh, Refuah HaGuf. Amen. And especially those that there is no one that will study Torah for them on their behalf. So make efforts to do that. You know someone that has no kids, no relatives, or if they have but they're not close to Torah, make the efforts to study on their behalf, saying this Mishnah I'm studying today is on their behalf. Mention their name. You can hire someone to say Kaddish for them. You can pay someone to study a whole day or a whole week or a whole year on their behalf. It's one of the greatest mitzvot. It's called Chesed Shel Emet. Right? It's a true kindness, because you don't get really any benefit from that person. He died already. And that shows that we care about each other. And we actually can do that every day, especially those who are studying Torah every day. Those who are giving tzedakah every day. So from time to time, dedicate it to those who are in need. Okay? Kaddish. Some people saying Kaddish only on the yahrzeit of their parents. You can say Kaddish not on the yahrzeit, by the way, on a relative that died, the whole year. Doesn't have to wait till the yahrzeit. Okay? Sfaradim has a custom and also Yaminat after a Torah class like we have today to do Kaddish for Niftars. Okay? Even someone that doesn't have, you can dedicate the Kaddish for those who need, those from the Holocaust, to say it in general, or for Israeli soldiers or whatever. Okay? So that's another mitzvah that we're facing and we see every day and we don't really pay attention to it. It's an easy mitzvah to collect. That's just to dedicate it to someone that is sick or someone that is in need. Okay? It's a mitzvah also to give objects, tools, for someone that needs it. Even giving a pencil, a cup, a chair, a book, you name it, a tool. It's a great mitzvah. The bigger the item, the more expensive, it's the greater mitzvah, obviously, right? So something to think about. There's a lot of, in Yerushalayim, which well known with Chesed, Baruch Hashem, and Bnei Brak and other religious places, they have a whole book. It's called the Book of Chesed. And you'll be amazing what kind of Chesed they have there. Okay, there's chesed for, I don't know, babies' bottles, babies' diapers. You open it, you see the address, and there's a phone number. You can go just and grab free bottles, free baby food, free diapers. There's a chesed for finding kids. I said that. Finding kids, lost kids. On Shabbat, when you go to that address, in minutes, they organizing group of people and they search it. All happens many times, unfortunately. That's a chesed. I know people that have baby cribs. They have a small storage and they have, I don't know, dozens of it. Okay, and also other people that have in our city chesed, what they do with whatever. So it's a mitzvah to be part of it. If you can't do it, You can't have a storage place, you don't have an idea. So go to the one that always doing it and ask, how can I help? How can I be part of it? What can I bring to be part of this mitzvah? So we have this on our, book of mitzvot. Okay, on our resume, we did this mitzvah. You should know that someone that gives out a Sefer Kodesh, any book, Chumash, Shulchan Aruch, whatever, beside the mitzvah that he's doing of Chesed, is going to have a mitzvah of Achzakat Torah, because they're going to use it in order to study Torah. So you get a share in that Torah learning. As it says, Hon, it's from the Tehillim, Hon ve'osher beveto, ve'tzidkato omedet la'ad. The tzedakah that one do like that will protect him forever. Another thing that it's a great ma'ala, it's a great quality, is to recognize, to be grateful. Most of people doesn't like to be grateful. Why? Because I show that I owe him something now. And I don't need this kind of responsibility. It's too much of me. So they even sometimes avoid of saying todah, saying thank you. If I say todah, it means that he did to me something, so now I owe him. So I'm not going to give him that feeling. And this is really bad. Because Hashem hates those who are ungrateful. To the extent that he eliminates 2 nations from coming to the Jewish nation. Okay? Ammoni and Moavi. Okay? So because they didn't share, the people of Israel, bread and water, as was expected. So the mitzvah is to say Todah, Yishar Koach, Osh Koyach, Tizker LeMitzvot, Chazak uBaruch, and so forth and so on. Right? Osh Koyach is twisted the word, of the Yishar Koach. Yishar Koach. Why are we saying Yishar Koach? You notice that after Torah learning, or someone gets Aliyah and comes down, they tell him Shkoyach after Torah class. Say the Rabbi Shkoyach, like you're saying to me after every class. Why they saying Shkoyach? Why the word of Mazi Yishar Koach? You should have strength. Why are we saying Chazak uBaruch? Should be strong. What has it got to do with strength? Ma? Do you have any idea?
Just trying to continue teaching and learning.
Teaching and learning? Okay, so the idea behind it is...
Is it because when you have strength, that means you're successful? So whatever you're doing, whether it's Torah or whatever, that you should be strong and successful in what you're doing?
Okay, you're all saying good things. It says in the Talmud, Torah, matisha kocho shel adam. Makes a person weary. Become weary from the Torah. And the Talmud brings few examples. I can share with you maybe 2. One is with Zat Hashem, with Resh Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan. Resh Lakish, the head of the thieves, is strong, athletic. No one could catch him. He was really, really good in what he was doing. So one day he saw Rabbi Yochanan on the river. For him, he looks like a woman. He wanted to show off. He jumped to the water. He did the split. He did the diving, and by the time he came out of the water, he see that was a man. So, your beauty is for girls. And Rabbi Yochanan told him, your strength is for Torah. You're wasting your time with all this strength. You should study Torah. History shows that they knew each other from before, in a way, so they recognized each other when they were close to each other, and they started to speak a little bit Torah. Resh Lakish was very, very smart. At some point, he loved what Rabbi Yochanan is sharing with him, and he wants more. I told him, I got to go, I came here to do like a mikveh, and it was really beautiful talking with you. And he said to him, you know what? If you come to study Torah and accept upon yourself tshuva, right now, you can have a beautiful Jewish girl, a tzadikah, righteous, like my sister. So now your sister, and you're thinking, if this guy is beautiful, your sister, Doing more so. So he says, I'm accepting. And Talmud says that we could barely swim back to the shore. And they ask, a few minutes ago he was jumping all over. And now he barely swim back to the shore. What was the reason? Because he accepted upon himself the yoke of Torah. And at that point, he became weary, he became tired. Because Torah metisha kochos, just the achayut, this responsibility, make one's heavy. Another example was with Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. I don't know if you heard that name before. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was a great tzaddik, and people come to visit him in his house to learn from him Torah. A great tzaddikim come, open the door, they sit down in the kitchen, and they see his wife taking out of the oven a piece of bread. And Rabbi Elazar, his son, sitting there, taking the bread, hot, no hot, he's swallowing it. So what is this? We never saw something like this. Did you notice? Another bread comes out, and Rabbi Elazar, the whole baguette, baguette is something like a magic show. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is this? So they say maybe there is a snake in his stomach. There is a shed. There is a demon there. I guess Rabbi Elazar noticed that, so he left. His mother took off the oven more. He's not there anymore. So they were with Rabbi Shimon. They left, and then they went back to find the donkeys. They couldn't find their donkeys. They look all over. Someone stole our donkeys. And then they hear, they look and it's on the roof. I don't know if you know, it's a very common in Arab countries, Syria, Jordan, that they have one-story home. They have a flat roof with, what you call it? Like a wall around it, so it'll be safe. Some sort of a wall, but they have from outside, they have stairs to go all the way. So usually in the back. So you go from the backyard all the way to the roof. And they used to sit there. Some people used to do their sukkah, whatever. They see the donkey. I said, what is it? It's a magic. What's the donkey? How did the donkey reach out to the roof? They went to Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon really understand what happened. He said, did you make Eliezer, my son, upset? He said, we didn't talk to him. We just wonder, I don't know, how he could eat all this bread at once, one shot. And he said to him, I don't understand. Was he eating on your expense? Well, it's not your business. So what should we do? Well, you have to make it up to him. You have to ask for slicha and mechila, forgiveness. So they were looking for Rabbi Elazar. He was under a tree in the backyard studying Torah. And they came to him, they apologized. And the Talmud says that he brought the donkeys down one by one. Must be a very strong man. The Talmud says when he took it to the roof, he took one donkey from here, one donkey from here, and he took it all the way to the roof. But taking them down, he took one by one. What's the reason? Because by the time they came out and they saw the donkey, going back to Shimon, going back to him to apologize, he was there studying Torah. And the Torah makes a person weary, tired. So he can only carry one donkey at a time. That's just the reason we're saying, Chazak u'baruch, you should be strong, shkoyach, shar koach. Because you just got an aliyah, the Torah is supposed to make you weary.
Why did he do that? Why did he do that? Why did he take their donkeys to the roof?
Because he wanted to punish them for talking negatively against him.
They didn't
He
do
noticed.
anything, they only thought about it.
I'll talk to him about it.
It wasn't nice.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. So that's Rabbi Elazar. I don't mess with Rabbi Elazar.
Okay.
So that he taught them a lesson. He taught all of us a lesson from that. We learned a great lesson from that. Okay, it's not your business. Mind your own business. Period. The Torah is supposed to make you feel weary. It's when you get the aliyah to the Torah, what you're supposed to say, the bracha, and how are you supposed to act when you get the aliyah? Do you know?
Serious.
You're supposed to read.
Right.
But in some communities, they don't read, right? In the Yemenite community, you have to read. You get the Aliyah, you read.
They do the laning?
Yeah. If I invite you as a Kohen, you must read the Kohen. That if you don't, it's a great embarrassment. And you must really have to be very accurate. So, and Sephardim and Ashkenazim, they don't do that anymore. So there's one that's learning the Torah. He will read for you on your behalf, right? Like what we see every day, every time. So it doesn't mean that you're off the hook. You must read the Torah. So what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to read with him quietly. Versus he's reading and people looking around, waiting for him to finish. This is why you don't feel weary. You don't feel anything. The obligation is to read, but you have to read quietly so you won't bother the one that learned the Torah for you. But it's a must. You must look at the psukim and read with him, at least in your mind. Okay, this is something to. But in the Yemenite community, all the Kohanim knows all the Rishons. For all the ask Rabbi Cohen. You know Rabbi Cohen from Gaza? He knows all the Rishons. It's well known. It's Yemenite. Levim, they know all the second Aliyah, because they're used to it. Okay, so all right. Tov. So it's a great mitzvah to lend someone a Gemara, a Chumash, or to make it as a tzedakah, giving, listen, this is my chesed, anybody can come and use this book anytime they want. Okay, you can dedicate a set of books to the shul for everybody to use. It's another way. It will be more, it'll be easier for people to reach instead of coming to your house. In the ancient days, someone has a Gemara in the village, everybody come to him to borrow a set of Talmud, studying there. And today it's very easy and cheap relatively. Okay, any questions? So he's saying we must say Todah and Yishar Koyach and all that. And also to be grateful. It's a great ma'ala for every little things that someone did to you. Okay, 8 more minutes. There is a simanim, there is a sign that shows that you are from a descendant from Israel. If you have these 3 categories, it's a sign that you are from the descendants of Avraham Avinu. What are these 3 categories? Chesed.
Can be modesty.
Baishanim, modesty.
Like bashful, like.
Okay, right.
And,
Baishanim, Rachmanim, merciful, and some of that do Chesed. And in the Tanakh, we'll see many times that King David or King Shaul was always emphasizing these traits. Okay. Sometimes he goes against you. Sometimes play against. Sometimes he plays against you. You know, when you're too merciful. Right? In Israel, before they bomb a house, they call it Hakesh Bagag. Knock on the door, knock on the roof. I don't know if you know that. They let them know, hey, we're about to bomb this building. So how are you going to ever catch the terrorist? You're telling him that what you're bombing a real estate. Too much. Okay. It says that if someone used to do chasadim with many people, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also acting with him with mercy. And not only that Hashem pay midah keneged midah, measure for measure, He brings kindness to the whole world. Any action of kindness, you're influencing not the one that you did chesed to, but the entire world. Remember we said the butterfly effect? It's the same. Any chesed. On the contrary, any sin. You commit a sin, affect the world. You give a power to the other force. Okay? הרגיל לגמול חסדים זוכה לבנים תלמידי חכמים עשירים ולמדנים. If someone is really dedicated to do chasadim, he'll get married to have children that they are scholars and rich and the Torah learner, and he will merit a long life, and his tefillah mitkabelet bashamayim. his tefillah will be accepted in Shamayim. Okay, the next part, the next 5 minutes, I want to discuss about achnasat orchim. There's a statement that a rabbi said that's sounds a little bit extreme. You have a guest, you have a friend. Let's put it that way. You have a friend, and you have the Kodesh Baruch Hu. What's more important? Kodesh Baruch Hu, right? But the statement is not like that. It says, Gdola achnasat orchim, hosting is greater than hosting the Shekhinah, accepting Shekhinah. Avraham Avinu. He was talking with Hashem, and all of a sudden he says, "Can you excuse me for a second? There are guests coming here." And Rashi learn from that, it's greater. Otherwise, he would ignore them till he finished his communication with Hashem. It's a great mitzvah to host people in their house, feed them, and take care of all their needs. Some people are not able to do that for a variety of reasons. They're not ready for it. They don't know how to do it. We said a million times, they can't host. It's too much of a trouble for them. It brings them too much of anxiety. They don't know how to do it. So how they can ever fulfill the mitzvah of hosting other people? You have any ideas? We shared a few ideas last time. I want to go to Hashem after 120 years with this mitzvah on my resume. How can I do that? I've never host people.
With tzedakah, giving to people that need money to host other people.
That's one. Another thing, there's a family that hosts people that you know. And you know they're hosting almost every Shabbat or every Shabbat. Simply go to them and bring them a case of wine, for example. Say, I want to participate with give them money to buy food. So, guys, please put yourself on mute. It's not going to come from me. All right. It looks like everyone is on mute. Okay. Okay, moving on. Yeah, bye. We already mentioned that we should accept our guest with smiley face, with joy, and to respect them with the best food. Not left over from 2 weeks ago. and not, hey, Passover is way, behind us, 3 months ago. But what you gotta do, you gotta finish it. It's a mitzvah to avoid waste. Right. Right. So, during the Sauda, hello, can you put yourself on mute? What's up with these people? Guys, put yourself on mute, bevakasha, please, por favor. Okay, next. What's the reason that one should show a smiley face and give everybody the feeling that they are welcome, so they feel comfortable to eat? There's a famous story about another rabbi that a poor guy came before on Pesach, and he spilled accidentally on the white tablecloth the wine, and it was all gone. After the host really worked really hard to make it look beautiful. So the Rabbi spilled his own cup and says, "I'm telling you, this table is shaking, and I have to fix it. After the holiday, I got to fix it. That's a chokhmah. It's a wisdom. It's a greater mitzvah to the host himself to take care of the guest, even if he can use his children or people that he hired. Like we learned that from Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu himself, he had many servants. Himself, he did the shechita, he took care of the cooking, and he asked from his wife to take care of the bread and so forth and so on. Because the mitzvah is to do by yourself. Obviously, you don't have to do everything by yourself, but it's a good mitzvah, a greater reward you get when you do it yourself. What's under the category of hosting? Drinking. eating, and sleeping, and escorting them. It's debatable if it's sleeping or escorting. The abbreviation, the acronym is Eshel. 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 Aleph, Shin, Lamed. Achila, eating. Shtia, drinking. And Lamed stand for Lina, sleeping, or Levaya. Okay. So, how far I should go with them? So back then you have to go really far. Today it's 4 amot, 2 meters is more than enough because people live close by and it's not as dangerous as it used to be. Some people just walk to their car and it's enough to walk with them. It's a greater, the Talmud says, escorting your guests is greater than hosting them. I'm walking with them 30 seconds. It's greater than being with them 3 hours. Better than cooking and preparing and buying. How is it possible that levaya, going with the guest, is greater than hosting them? You have any idea?
Because you're not getting rid of them. You don't want to get rid of them.
Very good. It's a good point. That shows them, that's a stamp, that it was really hard for you that they're leaving. Okay?
Mark and Andrew, don't worry about these things.
I know, because once we hit your door,
But you're always escorting them, right?
see you again.
That door slammed.
Yeah, once we see that, we hit the door, he's gone.
In your case, you just want to make sure you're leaving.
Exactly right. That's right.
Okay, and the last thing for today is, we already mentioned that, is to escort the. I don't know how many people does that, but this is something great. They have to pay attention. It takes few seconds, few steps outside the door, not to the door, but outside the door, and try not to push them out. Just let them walk, and then you walk with them 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. It's enough. It's a great mitzvah to earn. Okay, so this is something we all should pay attention. Be'ezrat Hashem, next time I think we're going to talk a little bit more about Bikur Cholim. I want to finish this and talk about honoring parents and rabbis and answer the question about the wicked.
So next
Stay
Sunday
tuned.
we're going to be in Silver Spring.
So we'll have it there.
Huh?
You're welcome to come.
You're welcome to come.
Okay, so
We'll host it.
okay, so Be'ezrat Hashem will go to the Kozowskis.
Hazaka Baruch.
Just kidding. תודה רבה.
Thank you so much.
Even if you don't
תודה רבה. Thank you for coming. God bless you. Thank you.
like